good afternoon, good evening, good whatever it is, wherever you are. My name is KDO, and this is Moon Mama Musings. Welcome back to my living room for another astrology people for today, the 26th of October, 2021. We're in a waning gibbous moon in the sign of Cancer as of 4:01 a.m. Bangkok time today. Yet another moon in Cancer. We are going to be feeling all the feels. But for some reason today I get its opposite day. Yeah. You know, in the last couple of weeks, we've dealt with the confirmation that the growth that we've been undergoing has allowed us to change our approach to different things, allows us to react emotionally differently than we once did. And this moon cycle is giving us the chance to put it into practice, I believe. Things that otherwise would have thrown you for a huge curveball are not so drastic. Whereas things that might not have bothered you before might really piss you off. All right? It can really grind your gears now. When we find the sense of true compassion for ourselves, we start to get a lot less patient with other people's shenanigans. All right? So I feel like you might be feeling a little less patient with people than you usually do. And it's because you've put in so much effort at this point that if people are not meeting you halfway, then at this point they can't be helped. And you're just not feeling so kind about it anymore. Or you might have been like, oh, well, maybe I can help you another time. No, look, if you're not going to do it, if you're not going to do it now, you weren't ever going to do it. So it's no longer time for this placation, I'm hearing. Either way, this is the first pass of watery Cancer while the sun is now in Scorpio. Scorpio season, and this is the season of death and rebirth, of transformation, of taking out the old and bringing in the new. And it really shows me that this watery cycle is going to be different than it ever was before. For some of you, drastically, because the changes that you've made were so necessary, but so big. Yeah, you've really redefined your sense of self. And now these changes are coming into fruition in Scorpio season, and our emotions and our subconscious are following through. This moon transit through Cancer, I feel, is just the very first. It's going to be the real big first kind of, we cannot deny this anymore. This is what it is. Change is now here. Here we go. Here we go. All right. It's going to be short and sweet today. I'm not going to lie. We only have one aspect up in the heavens today that I want to talk about, but I will be live on Instagram a little bit later today. But let's just get into it. We've got, first of all, very simply, the moon in Cancer is trining the sun in Scorpio. So I feel like this is kind of just reconfirming what I was saying. Yeah. I got a really interesting imagery though. So I'm from Montreal. And back in Montreal, we've got a really cool sort of technology department. There's a lot of development of interesting technologies that happen in Montreal. And we have a science center down in the port in the old part of the city. And in that science center, they hold some really interesting exhibits. And a few years ago, they had the Body Worlds exhibit come through. And if you guys don't know what it is, I mean, if you're squeamish, maybe it's not for you. But basically, the principle is that people have donated their bodies to science after they've passed on. And they have taken this method where they basically transform any carbon in the body into a plastic, preserving the bodies. But they can do brilliant things with it. Like they had displays of all of the nervous system and all of the circulatory system and all of the lymph system, but all separated from the same body. Or my favorite exhibit, or actually they had a really cool one, which was one that got them quite a lot of notoriety. It was a man riding a horse, and the horse's body was all fully preserved as well as the man on the horse. It was very interesting. But my favorite one was what they called the Exploding Man. And it was literally as if, so I've referenced the movie Cube before, but the first scene of the movie Cube, there's like wires go through and cut this human being into a pile of cubes, like just section him. So he turns into all these blocks. And it's like if you would have done that, but then blew it up so that they all kind of pushed away from each other. So this display actually took up almost a whole room, but it was all the cubes of this body, all separated by about this much, like not even a foot, just separated a little bit, but all out. So the Exploding Man was like kind of seeing parts of the human body all separated just a little bit, which was really, really interesting. And I feel like this is maybe what we've been feeling, we've been going through lately. But with this, the moon trining the sun, it's an expansive self. Yeah, the trine is an expanding, lucky aspect to begin with. But the sun is the celestial body that represents ourself, our ego, our way that we project ourselves forward. And I feel like we've expanded this in a big, big way with help of this watery moon. Who would have thought it? The watery moon is actually going to help us do something productive, instead of just bawl our eyes out. Isn't that exciting? Right, it's opposite day. So I feel our ego is softening in the face of these changes. Yeah. They may have been uncomfortable when these changes presented themselves, or even just the hints that they were coming might have been uncomfortable. But now that our sense of self has actually been pulled apart from itself in some sense, that we've become the exploding man in our energetic being, this change brings a change. These changes bring a change to our approach, as well as a change to our emotional and subconscious bodies. And it's helping us to grow and expand and change in such a productive way now. I feel like we're seeing the fruits of our labor come to fruition with regards to some of these explosive energies. And yeah, it can be uncomfortable to pick yourself apart, but it's all for a good reason. And when you get called to do that, first of all, it's because you're capable of doing it. Yeah, the universe doesn't ask you to do anything that's going to kill you in a lot of ways. I mean, when you're in tune with stuff, let's be honest. But it's because it was needed for the growth of your soul, for the authenticity of yourself. You needed to be the exploding man for a little while, and it's bringing really nice evolution. Yeah, really nice evolution. Sometimes I feel like you need to take yourself out of your environment in order to appreciate it, right? It's like that absence makes the heart go fonder kind of thing. Well, with regards to this, it's like almost like we needed to take ourselves away from ourselves in some respect, in order to greater see how what we identify as ourself was maybe not so fitting. And it does give us a golden opportunity to rewrite what we don't like. You know, we are the artists of our own life. Life is a canvas, and you can paint whatever you want on it, right? And if you start a canvas, it doesn't mean that you're married to what you started with. You can paint over it and do something totally different. You can take it in a new direction. You can flip it over. Reminds me of my friend Shashi. So Shashi Jacobs, she's a beautiful, beautiful artist. If you don't know her, go check it out. Shashi Jacobs Intuitive Art, I believe, on Instagram. She's one of my followers. If you want to go look her up, she's fantastic. But she does this beautiful thing where she starts a canvas, and often it evolves in a certain way. And as you watch her paint it, she puts paint all over it and starts new. And it's like this beautiful living canvas that, you know, you think it's going in one direction, and then just as it lives and breathes, it changes directions, and it's just fantastic. All right, I'm going to pull you a card of the day from the the Wild Unknown Archetypes Oracle. Let's see what the energies have to tell us about today, the 26th. Why do they always throw cards on the floor lately? Seriously. Ooh, the Mask and the Mentor. Number 61 and number 6. That breaks to a 67, makes a 13. Death card. This is really interesting. This card for me represents our old and our new. It's showing me here that we were plunged into darkness. And once we turned on the lights, once we came back to our source energy, we realized that it was only this mask that was holding us in the darkness. On this side of the card, see, the only darkness is in the face. The rest of it is beautifully aligned, rainbow colors. It's fantastic. But there's darkness still proceeding into this light from the face, or seeping into this light by means of this face. So maybe some time ago we turned on that light and realized that the mask was the culprit of the darkness, but maybe we weren't ready to take it off yet. The mentor here speaks to me of protection, of guidance, And it could be a person, absolutely, but it can also very just much be the energies that are supporting you, are pushing you along. The owl is often an imagery of wisdom. So this shows me that you're now realizing the extent of which this mask was hurting you. All right, you're realizing that the fire inside of you could have never been contained by that mask anyway. You're trying to be authentic to yourself, but that the mask itself was what was keeping the fire from fully thriving. You knew that there was something more for you for a very long time, and you were willing to put it aside because maybe it was more convenient, maybe it was easier, you know. But no longer. You've been shown this. You've done your apprenticeship, or you're still doing your apprenticeship in a certain way, and you're coming to terms with this wisdom that allows you to burn as bright as you possibly can. Let's see what's on the bottom of the deck. The crone. Yeah, this is number 13. There we go. These two cards make the 13. So when we remove the mask and use this guidance, then we become the crone ourselves. Okay? And the crone, this is beautiful. The crone has a crow. It's a hand cradling a crow, and the crow is holding a pentacle. So the crow is a messenger. The crow is misunderstood. It's a messenger through the darkness. Yeah, and it can be extremely misunderstood. Some cultures think that crows are bad omens, but I don't think so. I think they're extremely lucky birds. And especially this one. I mean, it's holding a pentacle. So this crow, this divinely guided message through the darkness that's come to us, is come bearing gifts. And we're finally catching that message. It's been flying around us, just waiting for us to put our hands out. And now it's setting down in our palms to rest, and it's going to give us this pentacle. We are going to be receiving a gift from all the hard work that we've been doing. And it's just a matter of time of when you usher it in. Because that crow does need to rest. You just got to put your hands out and allow it to. All right. Let's see. What have we got from the bag of tricks today? Okay. Be honest in reality. Take off your mask, my friends. Face the reality of things. Use that sort of truth to cut away any of the cords that ties you to the uselessness of your past, to the things that were holding you back. Ask Archangel Michael for help if you need to. He's a master at cutting cords. But you need to be grounded in reality. So maybe some of you guys do need to ground yourself in this new energy that's come to pass. And maybe you've not quite come to terms with it yet, but they're calling you to do so. Be honest with yourself and cut away the strings and the ties that bind you to things that are no longer serving you, and face the reality of things. You can bring it all back into yourself if you face this reality and you're honest with yourself. I was trying desperately to shuffle up the cards to not get repeats, but hey, we've got one that came up from yesterday. It's important. Don't be an adult. All right. So you're coming of age right now. Yesterday we talked about that, how it's a coming of age energy. But the thing is that they don't want you to do this traditionally. They're saying that you don't fit the traditional cookie cutters. You don't fit the molds. You broke the mold. They broke the mold after they made you, dear. And you're not meant to do it traditionally. You're not meant to be an accountant working at the bank, okay? For some of you, maybe you are an accountant working at the bank and you hate it and you've known forever that it's not for you. You're not meant to be doing this. You're not meant to do the traditional adulting things. But it doesn't mean that you can't be an adult if you're not traditional about it, right? Some of you guys were thinking that, like, oh, well, it's impossible because I need to, I don't know, I need to pay my mortgage and I have to do this and I need to do that and I need to hold up my responsibilities and da-da-da. Hold on a second, sorry. Right. Pouring rain into my house. Yeah, you don't have to go about it so rigidly. You're meant to be creative and innovative. You're meant to break the mold. You're meant to do something different and more exciting. And they're encouraging you to do so. They don't want you to be a traditional adult. They want you to be your form of an adult. Maybe that mask that you were wearing for all that time was the traditional form of adulting. Maybe you thought that you needed to have the 2.5 children and the white picket fence and the dog and the mortgage and the 401k. You don't. It's not where happiness is the only place that it's found. Some people, absolutely, that's where they find their happiness. And all the power to them, fantastic. But but most it just doesn't work for, and especially not people like you, like me, like anyone in the circuit. Sorry, it's very noisy. Pretty noisy. Okay, we have hope and divine masculine. Some of you guys are still hoping on some counterpart to come towards you. If you identify as a feminine, you're hoping for a divine masculine to come and sweep you off your feet and save you. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. No one's going to save you, my darlings. I'm really sorry to say this, but no one's going to save you. You have to save you. All right? The only way that you're going to get a divine masculine that you truly deserve, if you do identify as a divine feminine, is that you've got to be the mentor that for yourself. You have to be the most honest and true version of yourself. And that's when someone who's honest and true comes forward to you. If you do identify as divine masculine, well, look, things may seem difficult, especially if you are trying to break the mold of being a traditional adult and do it a little bit differently. But just keep your hope. Keep on trucking. Keep on working towards your dreams, especially if they're atypical from the traditional norms. You're doing great, and you will achieve your dreams if you keep on hoping. I know it's hard to hope right now. I know it's hard to believe that you're going to come out strong when things seem to be dwindling around you. But you've got this. You just have to maintain the faith. Okay? I think that's a message for everybody, is maintaining the faith. It doesn't matter if you're a feminine or a masculine. Just maintain the faith no matter what. Just make sure that you're maintaining the faith in the right kind of things, and that it's not a mask that's holding you, maintaining faith on stuff that doesn't serve you. Student, and the same damn thing. All right? You've got some stuff to learn. You really do. You need to humble yourself and become a student again. You're not going to be able to move forward in the most exalted way that you want to unless you're ready to learn something new. All right? If you think that you've got it all, well, I'm afraid to tell you this, dear. You've had it all, but you've thought that you've had it all before, and you thought that it would be fine, and it just gave you the same thing over and over again. So it's time to do things differently now. It's about innovation now. It's about transformation. It's about changing things that don't work. And maybe some of your life really did work, and maybe there was just parts of it that were, it was the one deal breaker, and that's what you've got to get rid of. Either way, you guys are being pulled into making some big changes, and I think it's gorgeous. And I wish you all the luck in understanding them, and hopefully this Cancer moon treats you kindly. My hair is driving me crazy lately again. Anyway, all right, that's it for me. I will see you guys later. But until then, I'm so sorry for anything you're going through if I've made you feel a certain way. Thank you for being a beautiful being and lending your energy to the circuit that I hold so dear. Thank you to your guides, my guides, the Ascended Masters, angels, and whatever other energies helped us get to these beautiful, clear, concise messages for our greatest good whenever we are finding them, because they are all timeless. I love you to the moon and stars and infinity and beyond and back. And I accept this, and I hope you do too. But if not, it's all good. We'll catch you again. Bye.